Anyone who's ever been backpacking understands the incredibly refreshing feeling of waking up to bird songs in a dew-covered tent, sun shimmering off a high alpine lake, fog rolling slowly over the peaks, and no one but a few fellow adventure seekers in sight. And if you haven't been backpacking, that should be enough to convince you. Getting to your campsite can be quite the physical challenge when you're carrying gear, food, and water, and that's what makes the destination that much more rewarding when you arrive. When deciding how to fill your backpack, a high-quality backpacking tent should be the starting point. Today's market is overflowing with options, all of which boast unique specifications to catch your eye. But it doesn't have to be so complicated. Entry-level tents weigh more, over 5 pounds, and take up valuable space in your pack, but they cost significantly less. Ultralight tents weigh very little and take up far less space in your pack, but the fabric is more delicate and the prices can be hard to swallow. To understand which type of backpacking tent is right for you, you should know the basics of tent construction. Capacity: backpacking tents range from 1-person to 4-person options. Generally speaking, they run on the small side of their claimed capacity. A 2-person tent is good for a solo trekker and their 4-legged friend, woof, or could work for a small couple who packs very lightly and doesn't have issues with personal space. But for most groups of 2 average-sized adults, a 3-person tent is a better option. You'll appreciate the wiggle room and space for gear. For most backpackers, we typically recommend buying one size larger than your usual party size because the amount of extra space you'll get is totally worth a slight uptick in weight. To keep comparisons simple, this review will focus only on the 2-person version of these backpacking tents. Comfort. Comfort depends on the floor space, number of doors, headroom, storage pockets, vestibule size, and much more. Generally speaking, more is better for all of the above. A tapered floor plan can be fine for singles, while a symmetrical floor plan is preferred for 2 or more people. A single door can work for a solo trekker or a couple, but 2 doors is almost always preferred. When it comes to headroom, storage pockets, and vestibules, they all enhance comfort, but they all add weight. Weight, as a rule of thumb, lighter is better. But lighter is more expensive too. Backpacking tents range from as little as 1 pound to over 5 pounds, and you won't want to carry any more than that. For casual backpackers, a heavier tent is a perfectly acceptable shelter, and the prices are reasonable. For the frequent trekker who is ready to invest, ultralight tents deliver weight savings you will appreciate, but the gentle fabrics must be handled with care for longevity. All tents cite multiple weights, so for consistency, we will reference the minimum trail weight. This includes the tent body, rain fly, and poles, not stakes, stuff sacks, and footprints. Packability. The packed size is the amount of space a tent takes up in your backpack. Smaller is always better. Stability. Waterproofing. Tents are mostly considered 3-season and 4-season. The difference is in the name. A 4-season tent is designed for winter conditions, like frigid cold, high winds, and snow, but they have less ventilation and are often heavier. A 3-season tent is what most backpackers choose, as it can handle conditions that you'll encounter on most trips in spring, summer, and fall. But not all 3-season tents are made alike. Some are far more stable and water-resistant in heavy storms than others. This review focuses only on 3-season tents.
To compile this list of the best backpacking tents, our editors thoroughly examined a wide variety. We carefully considered capacity, size, weight, packability, weather resistance, price, extras, and overall value. Some tents were chosen based on positive first-hand testing experiences, and others were chosen based on hours of research on current technology, trends, and surveys of user reviews. To us, backpacking is the next level of camping, which is why we trek miles and miles for seclusion. We have combined our obsession for the outdoors with our knowledge of the industry to help you make the most educated decision, so you too can spend more nights under the stars.
There's an obvious reason that Big Agnes is at the top of this list, yet again. The brand has a solid reputation for making some of the lightest, highest-performing three-season backpacking tents available, and they continue to push the limits with innovative outdoor gear that keeps getting lighter and performing better. Who knew that was even possible? The Copper Spur Platinum is an upgrade from its industry-leading predecessor. At just 2 pounds, 5 ounces, it's Big Agnes's lightest freestanding tent, and it's equipped with a full-coverage ripstop rain fly, 2 doors and 2 large vestibules, 40 inches of headroom, nearly vertical side walls, and 29 square feet of floor space, tapered at the toe, all category-leading specs. It packs down to 5 by 17 inches, again, the smallest in this review. Its fabric is a bit delicate, so it must be treated carefully. Be cautious with dogs, but that's to be expected from an ultralight tent. We're excited to call this one of our favorite 2-person backpacking tents. If it weren't for the price, that is over $100 higher than most competitors, it would be a shoo-in. The Copper Spur Platinum weighs the least and packs the smallest, yet still has some of the most comfortable interior space. It resists water like oil, and the mesh body is a stargazer's dream. What more must we say?
Hubba Hubba has long been a ruler among 2-person backpacking tents, and it's easily one of our favorites. While it's not the lightest tent on the market, we've found its extra weight to be a smart trade-off for materials that are more resilient to abrasions, especially when traveling with dogs, a pole design that is as steadfast as a bomb shelter, and weatherproofing that holds up even in heavy downpours. The Hubba Hubba NX2 weighs in at 3 pounds, 8 ounces and packs down to 18 by 6 inches, while offering 29 square feet of floor space and 39 inches of headroom. While these specs are similar to other ultralight options, the Hubba is one of the few 2-person tents that feels spacious enough to share with someone. Credit to walls that are nearly vertical, huge vestibules, and a symmetrical shape, not tapered at the toes. Downpours don't stand a chance against the Hubba. Its bathtub-style floor and ripstop nylon full-coverage rainfly are thicker, and therefore stronger, than most in its class, and they're treated with MSR's long-lasting Stream Shield waterproof coating. After years of use and trying many alternatives, the Hubba still sits in our top 3 and is actually our most used tent. We've found the stronger fabrics to be well worth the extra few ounces, to know that dog paws are less likely to punch a hole in your shelter when civilization is miles and miles away.
Nemo's newest offering, the Dragonfly, is among our top 3 for this year. It's an ultralight freestanding backpacking tent that perfectly bridges the gap between tents that are so light they feel flimsy and tents that are slightly heavier than a solo hiker could justify carrying. Nemo's Dragonfly weighs a nice 2 pounds, 10 ounces and packs down to 19.5 by 4.5 inches. It has 29 square feet of floor space and has a 41-inch peak height, all competitive specs in the ultralight range. We typically don't enjoy the tapered foot shape, but the Dragonfly is an exception. It feels larger than life, thanks to hubbed poles that pull the mesh body taut, nearly vertical walls, 2 individual storage pockets and a large overhead gear loft, and 2 big doors with even bigger vestibules. We found this tent's mesh body and rainfly to feel more solid, hold up to be more durable, and not get as bogged down than similar, lighter options, all of which are a big plus when traveling where storms are likely, soft campsites are hard to find, or when dogs will be running amok. Thank you, Nemo, for once again filling a gap that we never knew existed until you designed something new. We really dig Sierra designs as a whole. They make good, quality gear for campers of all types, with prices that hover on the lower end of the spectrum, so their gear always gets our attention. They made the Studio 2 for backpackers who want something that's lightweight, affordable, and not so trimmed down that it's cramped. The Studio 2 weighs in at 2 pounds, 11 ounces and packs down to roughly 16 by 6 inches. It offers 28 square feet of floor space and 40 inches of headroom, which is nothing to write home about. But we find that this tent feels much larger than its specs suggest, especially when compared to other tents with similar measurements, probably because of its massive front vestibule and distinct shape. This tent is unique in our list because it's the only tent with one door, which you might expect to dislike. But since its single door is almost completely vertical and positioned at the head of the tent, it's actually become one of our favorite configurations, even more than many tents with two doors. The tent body is made entirely of no-seam mesh, so airflow is amplified on hot, sticky nights, and stargazing is virtually unobstructed with the rainfly removed. It's completely storm-proof too, with a bathtub-style floor and a full coverage, silicone-treated ripstop nylon rainfly. For anyone seeking a good value, we recommend the Studio 2 as a high-performing, lightweight, surprisingly large backpacking tent for two. Does all this talk about freestanding and ultralight seem like gibberish? You're not alone. And that probably means you're looking for a tent that won't require a credit check for purchase, but will still fit nicely in your pack. Kelty Cylinder 2 weighs 3 pounds, 14 ounces and packs down to 15 by 13 inches. It has 2 doors, 30 square feet of floor space, and 43 inches of headroom. The fabric is quite a bit stronger than ultralight tents, which we appreciate. It's definitely heavier and less compact than most, but interior space is killer, and the dollars you save could fund an extra adventure or two if you don't have a money tree to shake but need one tent for both backpacking and car camping. This Kelty is rock solid, easy to set up, and costs a mere fraction of its competitors. The Dagger was Nemo's league leader in the past few years, and while it may have been overtaken by its siblings, the Hornet Elite and Dragonfly, in terms of weight and portability, it's still one of the best tents around. The Dagger is impressively comfortable, weather-resistant, and durable, with a weight and price that are hard to overlook. Nemo's Dagger weighs in at 3 pounds, 5 ounces and packs down to 19.5 by 6.5 inches, which is quite a bit bigger than some other ultralight options. But the trade-off is in the interior space. It's 31 square feet of floor space, a peak height of 42 inches, and 2 massive 11 square foot vestibules are all leaders in this class. With 2 doors and a symmetrical floor plan, we found the extra space to be well worth a larger packed size, making it one of the few two-person tents that will comfortably fit 2 people. We really love the thoughtful features on the Dagger, as we do on all Nemo gear. The poles and webbing are color-coded to simplify setup. The body's mesh walls are white for privacy, but the roof is black for stargazing. Huge gear storage pockets keep things organized, and the divvy sack makes it easy to split up the tent so partners can share the load. The Dagger has a reputation to uphold, and we don't see any hesitation.
If you were intrigued by our praise for MSR above, but you're seeking something lighter in weight, the Faraway 2 is definitely worth checking out. It's MSR's lightest, semi-freestanding double-wall tent, and it's been updated for 2019. MSR's Faraway 3 weighs in at 2 pounds, 8 ounces and packs down to 18 by 6 inches. It offers 29 square feet of floor space and a peak height of 36 inches, lower than many on this list. Upgrades include the company's new Stream Shield waterproof coating, plus new Easton Cyclone aerospace grade poles, both of which make this thing super solid in heavy thunderstorms. When compared to MSR's Hubba Hubba NX, this tent is 1 pound lighter in weight, has less headroom, and costs slightly more. But when compared to other semi-freestanding tents, meaning it must be staked out to stand up rather than being fully supported by the poles, its weight is similar. The floor space is much more generous, not tapered, yay, and it served us better in rainstorms thanks to the updates mentioned above. The Faraway might not have garnered the same attention as others in its category, but we tend to think that's a mistake.
The Tiger Wall is the lightest series of 2-door, 2-vestibule backpacking tents that Big Agnes makes. It has a single pole design that is super simple to set up, and it's semi-freestanding, which makes it more susceptible to extreme weather. The Tiger Wall 2 weighs in at 2 pounds, 3 ounces, which makes it the lightest tent in this review. It packs down to 5.5 by 18 inches. Has 2 doors and vestibules, 39 inches of head space, and 28 square feet of floor space, all features that are similar to, but slightly less impressive than its more expensive sibling, the Copper Spur Platinum featured above. We found this tent to feel quite a bit smaller, as the non-freestanding design allows a bit of sag to the tent body's mesh near the feet, and the door's zipper configuration makes the vestibules inefficient. If weight saving is a priority, interior space isn't as pertinent, plenty of room for one person and a dog, and price is a selling point. This tent is still worth a second look.
If you want to get cash back from the top local and national merchants use FLUZ application, click the link in the description.